The owner of NVIDIA mentioned this, and I found it really interesting. He said AI will not replace your job. People that uses AI, like people that use AI into their benefit, will replace your job. So we have to stay up to date with the technology. And if you're not using the technology, your competitors will be using that technology to their advantage.
For sure. And one of my favorite quotes ever, actually from Gary Vee, is find a way to put yourself out of business before somebody else goes and do it. Because somebody else is going to do it at a certain time.
Yeah,
So you
for
better
sure.
be the one to do it. AI is probably the hottest subject in today's day and age. Because for small business owners, it's basically like a cheat code. Like in the past, just a couple of years ago, you would have to go out and hire an employee to go out and do a bunch of stuff. And most small business owners don't have $2,000, $3,000 plus benefits to hire somebody. And with AI, you can do it for, if you do it yourself, a couple $100, or like $500 to $1,000, if maybe two, if you hire the two geniuses I have on today, Jed and Amine. So first of all, just to start this entire conversation off, just tell me, how did you two get into AI in the first place?
Yeah, well, first, I appreciate you inviting us to this podcast. We really appreciate it. Now, it's quite a funny story the way we started because back then I used to work into a marketing agency called All Might. And initially, as I said, it was in the marketing agency. And it slightly started to convert into an AI agency because of the new technology. And that company saw like a huge benefit into it. So I was really close to the owner and we started to go back and forth. And he's like, you know what? You should actually get into like AI too. It's such like a new thing that everybody who has a computer and has ChatGPT can access into it. And I was like, yeah, why not? And I started sending emails. And me and Amin were friends for like since primary school. So we always had an idea of like starting a business together. And we started me and him to talk about AI more and more. And I was already sending emails for selling, and I didn't mention this to Amin. I was sending emails, cold emails, like around 100,000 a month, and I got a onboarding call without letting Amin know, and I give a call to Amin 15 minutes before. I'm like, "Hey, Amin, are you still interested into AI?" He's like, "Yeah, what's up?" I'm like, "I'm about to have a call. Can you hop on?" And he's like, "I'm not sure. I'm not in my house, but I have my laptop." So he joined the call, and that was one of our first clients. Till this day, it's one of our biggest clients. And without Amin, for sure, we would have not closed that client. And yeah, that's how initially we started PhazeLink.
I love that.
Yeah.
Not even telling him, just do you wanna hop on a client call?
Just
And
like that.
yeah, and I can attend to Amin is a genius because
Thank you. I wouldn't say that.
well, compared to me, because I'm recently started out more besides just using ChatGPT. I don't count that as starting with AI anymore.
I mean,
And I was
I still use ChatGPT myself to do things. I don't know how to do half the things I do.
well, it's a very good like partner when you want to find out places to start for sure.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I dropped a Discord message in like Retail AI, a voice AI agent, in their chat. I was like, "Can somebody just help me, please fix this because I don't understand what's going on." And then Mean reached out, and I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "This is such a big help." I probably wouldn't be working still. And this is like 2-3 months ago if I hadn't hopped on the call with Mean. But AI is starting to become a very broad subject, and there's like more AI agents coming out than I can keep track of. It's like each day you get 2 days behind almost how fast things are moving. So specifically, what areas of AI are you guys focused on?
I'll take this one. So specifically, we're more so focused into, I'd say, customer support when it comes to AI agents like chatbots, voice callers, etc. But then most of the time when we're working on those solutions, we find ourselves actually not only working on the support side, but also on the automation side of the business. So there's like a lot of times after, you know, having a conversation with the customer, then a lot of stuff has to be done in the CRM in the background, whether you have to create a ticket or send an email to the owner, to the business owner, notifying them of something. And so I'd say automation is also, business automation is a big part of it.
Well, it makes things so much easier. All of those like tasks you don't have to do. Like nobody finds them fun. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
It's mostly done on repetitive tasks. Like, for example, uh, we had like a company where they get tracking numbers and they had to like manually send every single person a tracking number. And what we did is we were able to automate that. And not only were we able to automate that, like, okay, here's your tracking number, for example, it's a custom dynamic message, like a custom email that literally talks about what the customer orders and mentions their product. It's super, super customized and automated. I don't think an employee would do better than that.
no, and most customer agents, you don't really have a chance if you're just okay compared to AI. And I actually had a funny conversation with a guy like a couple episodes ago on the podcast where we talked about cuss is actually the word of customer support. And there is a lot of cussing in customer support. I have been there. It's not necessarily fun to be another end of that line a lot
Yeah,
of the
for
time.
sure. Yeah, especially cold calling. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Mm,
That's one of the. I have done cold calling. I would not want to do it again. Yeah, it's going to do a better job because it's going to keep the energy up, and it's make sure that results are like always up to par. Like one of the
Mhm.
things we use it for is like inbound call overflow. Sometimes people call us at 3 a.m. Like I don't want to speak to people at 3 a.m. Nobody from our team wants to speak to people at 3 a.m. AI at 3 a.m. is going to do a lot better job than we are. But we talked a little bit about the chatbots and that, like the voice agents. Which ones do you guys use and would recommend to other people?
The type of platform do we
Yeah.
use? Yeah. So what we do is actually we try not to get attached to a platform because AI is such a space that keeps changing the technology. And for example, something that we've been using for like 6 months, a month after, we're like, okay, we're completely going to remove this platform. It's no longer beneficial for us. We started using for voice agents in the beginning bland, but then slowly transitioned to VAPI and then to retail. Now, we were fortunate enough to have access to a new platform, which is now that a platform that we use completely for our voice agents. It's called Trellit. We had an early access. It's still in development, but it is it is hands down one of the greatest platforms. And people should look out into this platform called Trellit, Trellit.ai, and it's really doing magical work and making things much faster. And when it comes to APIs and functions, it's amazing. So yeah.
You're giving me homework at the moment.
Yeah. So Trellit, but retail for now, a lot of like AI people are using retail for now that we know of.
Yeah, I find it as a good platform as well.
Also
Personally,
has
the
to
one I
do,
use. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Also has to do with the costs a lot. You know, costs vary. Um, Sometimes you find a platform that has better costs for per minutes, or sometimes platforms have um, better costs for call concurrency, and so you find yourself switching in and out. So you shouldn't get attached to just one platform. You should just kind of learn the whole thing as a
Yeah,
whole.
cost in business is definitely important. But if we try and do the numbers compared to having an agent sitting there, I'm pretty sure that it's not
Yeah.
expensive. When we say
Yeah.
expensive, it compared to what it was
Oh
previously,
no,
it's
of course.
still dirt cheap.
Of
Yeah, no,
course,
it's
yeah.
day and night for sure. Yeah, day and night when it comes to like an actual proper person doing the job. And especially when it comes to like CRMs and integrating things, because it's very robotic. Customer support is a robotic thing. It has never been a human thing. And saying that, oh, it's replacing humans, I mean, I would say just it's not really replacing anybody. It just frees up the time for somebody to actually put in and investing more time into their business instead of repetitive tasks. So yeah.
For sure. I hate when people say, like AI people, this frees up so and so much time so you can fire somebody. No, it's so they have better things to do with their time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
no,
Yeah, no,
you
I
good.
just wanted to say that actually, the owner of NVIDIA mentioned this, and I found it really interesting. He said AI will not replace your job. People that uses AI, like people that use AI into their benefit, will replace your job. So we have to stay up to date with the technology, and if you're not using the technology, your competitors will be using that technology to their advantage.
For sure. And one of my favorite quotes ever, actually from Gary Vee, is find a way to put yourself out of business before somebody else goes and do it. Because somebody else is going to do it at a certain time.
Yeah,
So you
for
better
sure.
be the one to do it. Because otherwise it's not a fun situation. But just to go a bit more into voice agents and that kind of thing, how do you actually make voice agents give good answers? Because there's good agents, there's bad agents. Right way to implement.
Yep. So what we do is we use Markdown on our voice agents, which is just a proper way of prompting. That way, the AI better understands. Okay, this is my role. This is my prompt. This is what I'm tasked to do. This is information that I already have received, whether via API calls or whatever, but information that's pre-available to the voice agent. And then from then, it's just the scientific method. It's just trial and error. You call and you kind of try to throw curveballs at it and you see where it messes up. And wherever it messes up, you try to fix that in the prompt. Say, hey, if this happens, don't do that again.
Actually, another question that kind of leads into that. Can you overprompt an agent? Give it too much?
For sure. Over prompting an agent is for sure something that could happen. You'll start noticing it's called hallucinations. I'm not sure if you've seen like where you can um, modify the temperature of the AI. It ranges from 0 to 1. And so if you overprompt the AI, it's for sure going to start having hallucinations. And instead of giving you a more precise answer, it's going to start to get like really, really, really creative with its answer and just completely leave the guardrails of the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it funny sometimes, but it's not very funny when it's your AI doing things in your business it happens
Yeah.
to. It's funny when it's other people's stuff.
No, it's not. No, it could be a problem into like the future for sure, especially if you have clients. Like we try not to put it. We only leave it 240 characters. Don't surpass 240 characters. So we try not to let the AI elaborate as much. We want to leave it concise and not to start yapping for nonstop, right? Because that doesn't sound human.
No, and you can still hear it a little bit, but get it as close as possible. Because
Yeah.
most people don't care about talking to an AI agent. Well, some people do just have something against them, but I guess they just want to be left behind. That's their choice. That's
I,
okay.
I mean, there's still the wow effect. A lot of the time we get on these onboarding meetings and it turns out, like when we show the voice agent, there's always the wow effect of like, wait, this is actual AI. It's not a human. So we're still very early on. It's not something, that's super known and whatnot.
Yeah, and I kind of, to some extent, like it to compare it to SMMA because 5 years ago, before everybody started talking about it, like that was the golden age, best age to be in it. Everybody is talking about it now. That means too late. Now that not everybody is speaking about AI, you probably want to get in now. That's my thought on it. But going into probably like the most asked question I see. What's your thoughts on ChatGPT versus Gemini? Because that's really the two major big players that's well known.
You want to take this one, Jed?
Yeah. So basically, the both models, I would say they're quite strong. But from my use case, I see like ChatGPT being dominant in another use case, especially when it comes to like fine tuning like the API ecosystem. ChatGPT is more, and I would say hands down, better than Gemini. But Gemini, on the other hand, is like a multilingual, multimodal, how to say, capabilities, right? So basically, what it does, it integrates deeply with Google's ecosystem, and that's what makes it like a really strong competitor. So that's my thought when it comes to ChatGPT and Gemini so far. But I would say GPT is, for us, it's a better tool for the API ecosystem.
Yep.
And I kind of prefer Gemini when I have like big data sets. I find it sometimes handled like if it's very large data sets, Gemini is normally my go-to. But for everything else, I'm on the ChatGPT team as well.
Yeah. Also, Claude is quite nice when you have a lot of information. Claude can take so much information compared to ChatGPT. Yeah, for sure.
And
so, what if you had to rank them? And I'll let you go right after me.
Boy, rank them. I would put ChatGPT number 1 for sure, of course, always. And then I would put Claude, Gemini. DeepSeek, I haven't used that as much. Yeah.
I heard a little bit too much about data leaks, so I was like, yeah, let's just skip over that one. That would have been the question a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you can run it locally on your computers. You would need a lot of storage. And, when it comes to these AI models, I think artificial intelligence wise, they've all plateaued. Where the growth is not as fast as when we had, for example, GPT 3.5. I think they all kind of plateaued and reached like a ceiling. And at this point, it's just who pumps out the better features using the AI, the already existing AI. For example, Claude, you have a feature where it can literally control your computer. It could like see your screen, control your computer, etc. And like you said with the Gemini, like crunches data and etc. It's whichever one has the best features using the pre-existing AI.
I learned something new as well. That's why I love podcasting. I would recommend everybody doing podcasting because you get to ask people like this all the questions they maybe otherwise would have charged you money for. But I can shoot anything at the moment. This is great. I love it. Yeah. And in the terms of like AI and different niches, is there certain niches you see that's really lacking behind in terms of adapting AI?
Well, the short answer is I would say all niches are lacking into AI. It's such a like small, such a new thing. I mean, there's like, we're talking about hundreds of millions of companies that haven't used AI yet. In my case, I would say like every niche is like useful. So don't be niche down too much because AI can be implemented in everywhere, whether it's real estate, restaurants, manufacturing companies, whatever type of like niche, like company, you can use AI. So that's what I would say my answer is for that, for sure.
Having this conversation made me think about one of my old jobs. I wish we used AI because we had like Excel data sheets, and I think we reached like row like 50,000 or something crazy like that. I was surprised it still worked after a point. It was a struggle if you had to find something. Control F for sure was good, but
yeah,
there's going to be a couple things that pop up when you hit row or 50,000. Mm-hmm. That was
What is it, like 50,000 of like leads?
Like this was we did like deliveries, so and each route had like its own row, and they were just all in one big Excel sheet. Okay. So it just went on. It was set up to like automatically hide all the rows for previous days, but if you had to find something that happened previously, well, good luck.
Good luck.
You're gonna have a fun day. And then, well, it was not really the most reliable, but most of them would have been put out at a job, and the company probably still would run that department if they actually used AI. They invested, like they closed down the company, and they invested. Oh, now I have to do the transition. Like 15, no, not 15, like 30 million, and chose to close it down. Just in the IT system, they invested 30 million. I was like, you guys are spending too much money. So I don't know how much money we lost then, but it must have been quite the number if you pull down your $30 million investment.
100%. Yeah, can imagine.
But they didn't use AI.
No, the thing is, automation, like you said, like you mentioned, which niche is like missing out on AI. Like Jed said, literally every niche, because automation is so broad that, for example, when we start working with clients, we show them, like, we kind of obviously do our homework on their business beforehand and kind of come up with, some automations, some solutions to some problems they might be facing. But usually when we work with these clients, we solve problems using automations. We automate their tasks, and then they're the ones coming up with the ideas. Oh, actually, can you do this? And then we think about it. Yeah, actually, we can. And then they come up with another issue. Can you do this? Yeah, we can. So it really is limitless, the automation aspect, especially when you implement AI in the middle of it. It's limitless.
I chuckled a little bit because I remember our first conversation, and I'm surprised you said you think about it, because from that conversation it sounded like you just say yes and then figured it out.
Yeah.
Because it's possible.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Say
You
yes,
gotta,
figure it
yeah.
out.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about the AI niche is it's so new, so everybody is very friendly. There is so many people that can use it, as you two both spoke about, like every niche can use it. So even with every person that's in AI at the moment, I'm in certain communities and there's jobs on jobs on jobs on jobs on jobs on jobs on jobs, just because there's more people that want to use it than people that know how to do it. By a lot.
Yeah.
Probably 100 times more. So it's an easy space to go in and learn, because you can have conversations with people like you without having that in like well-established niches where, like, oh no, I don't want to help you because then you're my competitor. And
Yeah.
technically we are all competitors, but we can still sit here and have a good conversation about it and help support each other, because there is like truly a blue ocean. But you did mention one thing, like when the first question asked you, like you were sending out 100,000 emails a month. How are you sending out 100,000 emails a month? Because that's a lot.
Yeah, actually, that's like the low number that we've been sending.
What's the high number then?
We've sent more than 100,000. In our old profile, we were sending around, how much was that? Like probably triple or maybe double the amount. So we're using this platform called Instantly. Are you familiar with it?
No, but
Okay.
I'm doing research after this one.
Yeah, for sure. So Instantly. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think that they need to buy like domains, but you don't necessarily need to buy domains to start sending emails. You just gotta remove yourself from the blacklist. And to remove yourself from the blacklist, there's a lot of steps into this. So like your emails don't get blacklisted. One of them is warm up. Your emails need to start warming up, meaning before you start sending actual emails, you got to put them into a process, and Instantly takes care for that. Takes care of that for you, which basically it starts sending one email per day, and then it slowly starts to go up. 2 emails, 3 emails, 20 emails. So each email account, we usually put it like it sends 30 emails a day. So we had around 1,000 emails, and each email account was sending 30 emails a day. Now, and where our emails were doing the most, like where we were getting the results the most, it's follow-ups. We were sending 4 follow-ups in a row. Like the first day, not an answer, follows back. And second follow-up, they actually usually answer. There's a 40% rate that chance that they can answer our emails. And it's really not like, it isn't something secret, it's a secret sauce. It's really just, it's a number thing.
I know one person that's going to be very happy when I tell him this.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. So there's, like, as I told you, like, especially in the American market, there's like how many people? There's 270 million people. I mean, for businesses, I'm not sure quite how many, but the only difficult aspect is the setup, like finding the right leads, which there are a lot of platforms. Then you also need to take those leads and then put them into bulk email verifier, which you need to verify those emails so you don't send emails to a non-existent account. because if you do that, that triggers your email into a blacklist. It's a bunch of those, and also like the way you phrase your emails. If you put certain words, emojis, what will happen again? You're gonna get blacklisted. Now,
Interesting.
yeah. So there, and it keeps changing. There are a lot of rules. So where I would say you should start if you're new to AI, start sending emails, and don't go by, because I see a lot of influencers say you need to start sending 50 emails per day minimum. Hey, we were sending like around 200,000 emails like a month,
Fuck 50.
right?
We're doing
Yeah.
a couple thousand a day.
Yeah, and actually, if you were doing that manually, you were more likely going to spam than us actually doing a bulk email, sending bulk emails, because we were going to the criteria of not getting spam triggered as spam. So yeah, there's the world of email, cold emails is a huge thing. Yeah.
And I imagine you automated this entire process.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, the only thing you like is you have to set up everything. Once you set it up, that's it. You forget about the emails. Yeah. I was actually doing some calls, sales calls, and at the same time I was getting notification of, hey, this person is interested into your email. They said yes, and then I give them a call.
Like that. This is you real hustlers, both of you.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
That's go
It-
ahead.
For sure, in the beginning, like Jed said, it takes so much time and effort. You're just there, working on this automation, almost ripping your hair out. But then, once you get it working, once everything works, you don't have to lift a finger for forever. And that's the great part about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised this desk is still lasting after all some automations and also my hand. When automations is not working for a couple of hours, bulk.
Yeah. There is no human that can send 100,000 emails per month. So that's what automation does.
Yeah, like your keyboard is going to break at that time in your mouse. You're going to spend more money on mouses and keyboards than the AI. Like,
for sure.
Not even thinking about the time. But since we're in like the conversation of automations, is there certain areas like this the best to automate, where there's like the highest return of that initial investment of time and tables and mouses?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say anything that has to do, from our side at least, anything that has to do with cold outreach should be automated, no questions asked about that. But then our clients, we kind of deal with them more personally. Like we actually, if they need something attended to, we actually do that. But areas of automation, like Jed mentioned, customer support, it's not very human for a human to just constantly be happy on the 300th call, answering the same exact question. It's not really a human thing. And so I think any, customer support to some extent should include AI. For example, if we make our AIs that, so if our customer, really, really needs to talk to a human, because let's be real about this, AI is like 90% efficient, but there's still that 10% left, like scenarios that can't be predicted or that are not usual. And so for that 10%, then we actually transfer them to a human. So I think, customer support is something that should be automated. A huge part of it should be.
There is like certain things you can't predict.
Yeah.
It's just gonna
Yeah.
and well, if you haven't trained your AI on it, it's probably not gonna give the best of answers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I love looking through the transcripts, actually having those real conversations, because I'm sitting there doing calls and calls and calls like you were with the agent, Amine, and then once it's like a different, like, and the first person actually calls is like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
It worked fine when I was speaking to it,
Yeah.
but then like it goes in circles. It doesn't really want to go anywhere, and then you're like, I probably need to set up like the hook, like webhook for the automation a bit earlier. I just need to set it up instantly, otherwise it's not gonna work. and I probably should know the transcript. There's all sorts of things that you just simply you don't think about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always a work in progress. And like when you're testing it, like I said, when we're doing the scientific method, we're just kind of throwing all types of curveballs, and you try to just cover the most you can. But realistically, when people are going to start calling the AI, very rarely you're going to see a curveball that didn't get caught. And so you have to adjust to that. And then the more you catch, then the better your AI is, and the more you can breathe.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like that. I can't even. Is it Nikola Tesla or who was it that invented the light bulb? I can't remember his name
Edison?
exactly. Yeah, Edison.
Yes.
Well, it was like I didn't fail. I just tried 10,000 different things and then kept moving on to the next
Exactly.
Yeah.
one. Right up until it actually made light and started to like shine up things.
Yeah,
and
that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
And AI is and anything is actually the exact same editing, coaching, all that kind of things. It's like you're not going to be perfect to start out with.
Exactly.
Nobody is. Like that's only human. And like I love that you also brought up customer support in that kind of way of that's a great way to have AI and handle it. Because there is, as we talked about, there is just that lack of like human error, like we're all intend to do error. I vividly remember, like this is probably 4 years ago. I still remember it because it just frustrated the hell out of me. But we had to switch to an internet company because somebody else bought somebody else. And when I kept calling these guys, and every time I got a different answer, I got to the point where I swear they just had like an arc of answers, and for each call they just pick one random one. Like, this is the one I'm going to use today, and then this is the one I'm going to use for this one, and this is like there's no concurrency in what you're saying. I called 10 times and got 10 different answers for the same problem, and none of them really worked.
Yeah, because mainly the people that work in customer support, they have a script because they cannot go and say whatever they have in their mind because they talk about the company, and that's a liability for the company if somebody just talks freely. Same thing for the AI. So it has a script, it knows what it needs to talk and needs not to talk about. Yeah, so AI will definitely support calls. It's a matter of time, really.
Yeah, and your money is going to be better spent
Training an AI.
Now I'm gonna mention firing, even though I said I don't like it. But firing those average customer support agents, getting an AI agent, and then using the money you have left over to hire some experts. So when the AI has a problem, it transfers the call to an expert that actually knows everything and solve the problem.
Yeah, I agree. It's it definitely gives you more flexibility into your money and see where that money needs to be invested for sure.
I love that. One question, and this is probably going to be the hardest question of the entire episode, is where do you see AI over the next 3 years? What do you see happening with it?
Yeah, I'll take Can I take this one? Because
Yeah, go ahead.
this is an interesting one. So far, everything that has to do with AI is digital, and people speak about AGI, which is like AI put into robots, into actual physical things, and that's where I wanted to get at. Is I think in the next couple of years, that's what's going to. We've already seen, like, Elon Musk with the with his robots, but it's not quite there yet. Like, I'm not saying robots that are gonna look human and act human and whatnot, but robots that are going to have AI in them. And like, for example, for facial recognition, China has been using that for a very long time, way before GPT. And I think we're going to start seeing AI work into embedded systems, and start actually interacting physically with the real world and not just digitally, whether like, voice agent, or all the voice agents technically also physical, but like, or chat or anything digital, it's also going to be physical.
Yeah, I think you're right in saying that. And I know it's a hard question because, as we spoke about, it's moving rapidly. That might even happen next year. We don't know.
Yeah,
it could happen tomorrow, probably. Maybe, you don't know.
That's true, 100%. And also, it's not only about like customer support or anything of that sorts. I'm not sure if you've seen recently where Donald Trump was talking about the new project Stargate.
No.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
only thing we see about Donald Trump over here is him trying to buy Greenland. That's the only thing they mention in the Danish news.
Let's not go to the political side because
Please
so
don't.
far it's insane what's going on in the world. But recently, OpenAI and I kind of forgot the other company. It's a Japanese bank company that basically invests into technology companies, and then another medical company where they're investing $500 billion, which is an insane amount of money.
Big check.
Yeah, big check. And they're actually starting with $200 billion. It's lasting a 5-year project or a 3-year project where basically they're going to see, they said they're going to solve cancer. They're going to start using AI to help cancer patients to actually be able to give you the antidote before seeing the symptoms of a cancer or a tumor. So there's going to be something that would take a medical person like days or months. The AI would see the symptoms within a couple hours and give you, hey, this is what you should be taking. That's what the project is about, Stargate.
I understand why they cut a big check, because medical personnel is getting paid a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can save a couple of years of medical, that's gonna pretty quickly be bigger number than 500 billion. Is there some other AI like projects that you two are excited about?
Yes, we're like for personal, we're more pushing it to universities. As I mentioned, I worked personally with another AI company where they actually started to they had an AI voice agent for a university, and somewhere in the US, I kind of forgot the name, where basically it calls the students, potential students, and says, hey, are you interested in our university? And then most of the students ask a lot of questions about the university. Okay, what are the plans and what type of what is it called, majors you guys have? So it actually gets more students into the university. That's what we're looking for, and it should be around like 50,000 calls, which is an insane amount of number of calls. But again, it's robotic. So what is good about AI? We can put like so much information into the AI, and whatever questions the students have, we can answer those questions.
Like the numbers of emails and all the month just went up by not even 100, like 1,000. I remember cold calling, like if you got a long day of cold calling, you maybe do a day, so that's just around 3,000 calls a month.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't know how you did that. Like 100 calls, your brain is fried. And I don't know, did you take it a little bit in the ego? Because
at the start you do, but you learn to not care. I think cold calling is actually a very healthy thing for a person to do, because you learn not to care.
For sure.
If you say something, I've heard it before. I think the most memorable conversation I've had with a person, and this was... it's not like necessarily in a bad way, but I've never heard somebody say in such a calm voice, my house is burning down. Just like I said it, they said it to me. Yeah, sure, it's burning down. You're a very chill person. So you kind of just learn not to take things at face value and not to take it personal.
Yeah, like I had a conversation with a friend about cold calling, and he said something really that stuck to my mind was, are you really, like, because I had a bad cold call. He's like, are you really going to let a person that you've never talked to the first time make you doubt what you're trying to like get to, right? The success. And I was like, yeah, like, fuck that guy. Like, I don't know him. Like, I wouldn't let him affect what I want to achieve. Yeah, so cold calling is a learning curve, and it is very humbling for sure.
Yeah. But it put your ego in check. I think it was very helpful for me, because back then I had a bit of ego. Let's just say it like that. I thought I was the fucking man. That kind of shut that down a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's like if you have dreams, cold calls for sure will destroy the dreams. Yeah.
Put a little bit in check. But
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
but you don't have to do the cold calls anymore.
Yeah,
And
That's
then
it.
you can do 500 cold calls in a day without even having to worry about it.
could do 500 cold
And
calls in a minute.
that's true. And your agent ain't gonna take it personal. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. What we realize is actually cold calls and like just calling in general. Um, People are afraid of calls. That's why we
Yeah.
send emails. People hate a one-on-one conversation because they have nowhere where to hide. So, and it is very, it's like you're coming into their personal space. So either they hang up or they don't feel comfortable talking to you enough. So emails gives them like that personal space and, lets them digest, hey, this guy just sent me an email. Either I tell them no, fuck off, or they answer the email.
Yeah. The thing about cold calling, if it's of an agent or if you're doing it yourself, you are interrupting somebody else's day.
Correct.
So just the first emotion they feel is not positive.
Yeah.
And that's a bad way to start off a conversation.
Yeah.
Since I've worked in a call center, I have had the pleasure of hearing people that make 10K a month, 20K a month doing cold calling. First of all, it's very impressive. Secondly, it taught me never to trust a cold caller. Because these are the most untrustworthy people in the world. Don't ever, if you ever see the inside of a call center, you're never going to buy anything from a cold call again in your life. Quick example, just before we round this off here. There's this guy I used to work with. We were selling insurance for a big Danish insurance company. And he was like, yeah, I told the guy that insurance was 25K, but I can give him like a 5K discount. So but the original price was 20K, so I just plus 5 on it and removed it again.
Yeah, it's just free balling at this point.
Yeah, he was just, but yeah, they were making a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not it's not the people I necessarily want to do business with.
To be fair, you'd be surprised. Big companies are doing that as well. I think it's fair game at this point because like you see the original price was 300 and now it's 150, but it's always been 150, and I think it's actually illegal in some states to do that. But yeah, very large companies are doing the same thing as well. It's just the psychology of selling, I guess.
Well, if you're living in Europe, that's definitely illegal.
Yeah.
To everybody listening, that is illegal. So if you get caught, it can be a rough day.
Yeah, for sure. Also, like you have to be careful with cold calls with AI voice agents because in the US is also illegal.
Oh.
You cannot. Yeah, it's not a lot of people know about that. But if you have a business, because we like have a business like in LLC, and we have to go by the rules. But when it comes to like the cold calling, unless if you had contact with and they accepted some type of approval that they can receive calls or emails, you can start sending them. But if you had no contact whatsoever and just giving them a call by AI, it is illegal.
Only by AI it's illegal.
Because it's registered as like a
pre-recorded message.
Ah, okay.
Legally, in a way.
So I guess technically I can see that if you really put it down to the technical stuff, I guess that can be the definition. But emails are still all good, right?
Oh no, you're good. Because I don't know if this is if I'm supposed to say this.
This is not legal advice. Let's just make that very, very, very clear.
Okay, so if you have a domain, you're traceable, and that could be illegal. But if you just buy emails, bulk emails, there's no way to trace those emails. So, which means even if the person is not satisfied, he has no way of tracing your emails because those emails are just at gmail.com. So that's when we used to send emails. But that's not illegal advice. I'm just saying this.
No. And if you are in Europe, it's not legal advice, but that is illegal. Any type of cold email, if people haven't said yes, that is very illegal. And European governments, they love fines. Let's just say it like that. They'll fine you into poverty very happily. Take all your money. They won't put you into prison or jail for very long, but they'll hand you a very hefty fine. But for the person that's loved that conversation today, want to maybe learn more about AI, want to get to know you guys, maybe have them help automate their business, what is the best place to reach you? What's some places that they can go to? All links are going to be down below in the description, show notes, what people like to call them.
Yeah, for sure. You can find both of us on LinkedIn as well as on our website, PhazeLink.ai. And feel free to contact us anytime. We'll be happy to help.
I would definitely strongly recommend. And is there a final bit of value, a golden nugget you want to leave the listener with?
Okay. No, well, I mean, for me, it would be just I appreciate you inviting us again. It was lovely talking to you, and yeah, we should do that also, like in my YouTube channel, for sure. Now, yeah, that'll be it for me.
Golden Nugget, learnmake.com.
Yeah, very true.
Or
Same
Golden
thing you
Nugget.
told me, so it definitely means that.
Yeah. That's the
Well,
goal.
for everybody listening, thank you very much for enjoying this conversation or
Thank
bearing
you.
with us, depending on what you feel.
No, it's
And
great.
definitely check out the links below. I would strongly recommend it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mas.